74. Oh, 75. Oh, hello. Sorry about that. Just working on the guns. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to our first ever lockdown cinema night. Very, very pleased to have you with us this Wednesday afternoon. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I have been running a monthly film club back at college called Cinema Night for over 10 years now. Cinema is a big passion of mine. I love films and I love sharing films. I really believe in cinema, the idea of bringing people together to watch a film and sharing that passion. And it's a big part of the job that I currently miss whilst we're in this lockdown. So that kind of gave me the idea to do this, to bring it back in this new form, and to kind of unleash the power of cinema at this difficult time, the power to bring people together, to have a collective experience. And let's face it, we all need a little bit of that right now, don't we? So normally I'm a big stickler for cinema etiquette, which, as you'd imagine, sort of watching the film in silence, no mobile phones, no kind of talking during the film. But these are strange times. This is a lockdown, not a holiday. So we're throwing that cinema etiquette book out of the window and we're going to watch the film through Netflix Party, which is a very interactive experience. So how it works, guys, essentially is it allows us to watch the film from many different locations at exactly the same time. So the code for next Netflix Party will shortly be on Google Classroom for you to click and wait for basically me to kind of press play. After the film, if you would like to join me for a quick chat about the film, tell me what you thought about it, then we can do that through Google Hangouts. And again, the link to that is on Google Classroom. So a Netflix Party then will look something like this. So just at the side of the screen, there will be a text chat. If you go up to the sort of top corner here, there's a little icon. If you click on that, you can give yourself a nickname and we can have a chat whilst the film goes on. Again, making this interactive, bringing us together. Okay. So moving on to today's film then, The Breakfast Club. Breakfast, my favourite meal of the day. I love breakfast, love a bowl of granola in the morning, and at weekends, hash browns. Got to watch the figure, so can't have that every day. Breakfast Club, a phenomenal film, a cult classic, big part of American culture, influenced so many other films. A film from 1985. It's as old as me, believe it or not. So the film is written and directed by this man, the great John Hughes, an incredible film writer and director. He actually only directed 8 films throughout his career. But he wrote a hell of a lot more. He was a very quiet man, a very introverted man. He's certainly also very humble. He certainly didn't think of himself as an artist, but in my eyes, he's absolutely a wonderful, wonderful artist. Ally Sheedy, who plays Alison in the film, she described John Hughes as quite childlike, that he was quite young-hearted and spirited and quite playful, which probably explains why most of the films he wrote featured young people. He very quiet, like I say, rarely gave interviews. And another big part of his films as well is our cars. So cars play an interesting and symbolic role in this film. So see if you kind of spot that in today's film, the Breakfast Club. So John Hughes then wrote and directed. Wrote a number of films. Only directed 8, including Weird Science, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Planes, Trains and Automobiles. But he also wrote a number of others: The Great Home Alone and Home Alone 2, Beethoven, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, 101 Dalmatians. Many brilliant and wonderful films. Did write a couple of stinkers. He wrote Flubber and Made in Manhattan, but I think given the wonderful films he's given us, we can allow him a few stinkers. John Hughes, sadly, no longer with us. He passed away in August 2009, but leaves a legacy of wonderful films. And I think, in my opinion, amongst those great films, his best film is today's film, The Breakfast Club. So back to The Breakfast Club then. Like I say, it's a cult film, has had a lasting impact in American culture. It many of the things I'm sure that you love currently, films and TV shows, have been influenced by The Breakfast Club. Anything that features a kind of bunch of misfit characters coming together. For example, anything from Friends to How I Met Your Mother, Mean Girls, Clueless, even recent things such as Riverdale, Spider-Man Homecoming, even the recent Power Rangers movie. If you've seen that, the first half of that is just pure Breakfast Club. Not so much when they get costumes and start fighting aliens from space. If you're expecting that from today's film, you might be disappointed. But the first half of it, pure Breakfast Club. Influential in many ways. The soundtrack's very recognizable. In particular, the kind of title song. The themes in the film as well. A number of those, see if they're still relevant today. Themes such as sort of teenage angst, sort of young versus old, kind of independence and identity, fear of getting old, defiance, peer pressure, all those things. It would be useful to see if you feel they are still relevant today. So it's nearly time for the film then. What do you need to do? If you haven't already, download the Netflix Party extension to your Chrome browser and click the link. And when that's ready, you should have the film paused. Get comfy. The film's going to start at 1:30. So you've got a little bit of time left just to get yourself some snacks, get yourself ready, and make sure you're kind of sitting comfortably. But don't you forget about me, because after the film, like I say, jump onto Google Hangouts about 5 minutes after the film, and we'll have a chat for those of you who want to. Other things to think about during the film: what recent things that you've watched and like do you feel may have been influenced by The Breakfast Club? Think about the themes of the film. Are they still relevant? Do you identify with any of the characters in the film? How different American high school appears to be to our own kind of secondary school here. Or anything that you want to kind of throw out there. You'd be more than welcome to kind of talk about. That's kind of it from myself. Like I say, you've got a narrow window now to get yourself ready, get yourself on to Netflix party and ready to kind of watch the film. Thank you for joining me during this introduction, and I'll see you after the film. Just going to switch this off now. Okay.